So let's compare Kenya to Uganda. Today we'll break our comparison down into 6 categories: basic information, geography, people, economies, militaries, and of course any other random crap I could think of. Kenya and Uganda are both East African nations bordering the mighty Lake Victoria. They gained independence from British rule around the same time in the early 1960s, but since then, each has carved its own unique path. Modern-day Uganda gained independence from the UK on October 9, 1962 with Queen Elizabeth II as head of state and Queen of Uganda. In October 1963, Uganda became a republic but maintained its membership in the Commonwealth of Nations. Meanwhile, in 1962 Kenyatta was released to become Kenya's first prime minister, when Kenya finally gained independence on December 12, 1963. The following year, Kenya became a republic with Kenyatta as its first president. In the same year Kenya joined the British Commonwealth. Kenya's head of state is President William Ruto of the United Democratic Alliance Party. Its head of government is Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi. Uganda's president and head of government is Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power since 1986 as part of the national resistance movement. The beautiful crane is the official symbol of Uganda and can be seen flying high on their national flag and coat of arms. Crown cranes are one of the most majestic birds in Africa. Meanwhile, Kenya's national animal is the lion. Lions are one of the most charismatic species on earth, idolized across the world as a symbol of courage and strength. Not only do they play a big part in ecosystem health, but they are also a major contributor to Kenya's GDP. It's no wonder that the lion is Kenya's national animal. Uganda is a unitary semi-presidential republic. The central government in Kampala holds significant authority, but there is a system of district local governments that handle some administrative responsibilities within their jurisdictions. In contrast, Kenya is a unitary republic but with a more decentralized structure. Kenya's counties have semi-autonomous powers and run their own governments headed by county governors. The national government based in Nairobi carries out many of the key governmental roles, but county governments in Kenya exercise more autonomy compared to Uganda's district local governments. The Kenyan flag features a horizontally bisected background with 4 stripes, 1 black, 2 white, 1 red and 1 green. In the center is a shield with 2 crossed spears. This tricolor flag dates back to Kenya's independence in 1963. Meanwhile, the Ugandan flag consists of 6 equal horizontal stripes, black, yellow, red, and black, yellow, red from top to bottom. In the center is a white circle containing a crested crane, Uganda's national bird. This distinct flag design was adopted in 1962 after independence from Britain. By East African standards, both Kenya and Uganda are modestly sized countries in terms of area. Kenya has an area of 582,646 square kilometers or around 224,960 square miles. Uganda is slightly smaller with an area of 200,520 square kilometers or approximately 93,065 square miles. This makes Kenya roughly 2.4 times the size of Uganda. For comparison visuals, here is Kenya and Uganda placed over East Africa, here they are over Western Europe, here are the 2 countries placed over the southeastern United States, this is them overlaid on the northern part of South America, and here they are situated over the Indian subcontinent in Asia. The size differential, with Kenya being over double the area of Uganda, is quite notable when visualizing the 2 countries mapped over other regions of the world. While not the largest nations in Africa, their geographical footprints are still significant in the East African context. Kenya's territory consists of about 1.93% water and 98.07% land. Uganda's territory consists of about 15% water and 85% land. Kenya has a considerably longer coastline than landlocked Uganda with a total of 536 kilometers or 333 miles along the Indian Ocean, compared to Uganda's complete lack of coastline. Kenya is divided into 47 semi-autonomous counties, with Nairobi being the most populous. 4 of Kenya's cities, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nakuru, are also counties. Uganda is divided into 135 districts, with Kampala having the largest population. In terms of area, Turkana is Kenya's largest county while Mombasa is the smallest. For Uganda, Kolangala is the smallest district by area while Kasese is the largest. Nairobi is Kenya's capital city while Kampala is Uganda's capital. Uganda borders a total of 5 countries: Kenya, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Kenya borders Somalia, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, a total of 5 countries. Kenya also shares a border with Seychelles, but its border is all the way across the Indian Ocean. Kenya and Uganda share some geographic similarities with rolling hills and plateaus, but also have distinct differences. While both have areas suitable for agriculture and grazing, Kenya has more diverse terrain, including a hot, arid climate along the coastal region, contrasting with the temperate highlands around Nairobi and in western Kenya. Uganda is landlocked with a more consistently warm tropical climate. The contrasts are exemplified by the coastal city of Mombasa having a hotter year-round climate than Uganda's capital Kampala, located further inland. Both countries are home to some major mountains on the continent, with Kenya's tallest peak being Mount Kenya and Uganda's tallest mountain being Rwenzori mountain range on the border with the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Other significant mountains include the Longonot in Kenya and Mount Elgon that is shared between the two countries. Kenya's topography is defined by the Great Rift Valley running through the western region, cutting it into two. The central highlands around Nairobi give way to a low-lying coastal strip along the Indian Ocean. Uganda is a plateau-dominated landlocked nation, with its highest elevations in the Rwenzori Mountains along the DRC border. While Kenya has direct ocean access, Uganda relies on ports in neighboring countries for maritime trade. Both Kenya and Uganda have significant rivers that have influenced human settlement patterns. In Kenya, rivers like the Tana and Athi run through cities like Garissa and Nairobi. Uganda's river systems include the Victoria Nile flowing through Jinja, and the Kagera feeding into Lake Victoria near Entebbe. Kenya and Uganda are both populous nations in East Africa, but they differ in population size and growth rates. Kenya is home to over 53 million people with a 1.6% population growth rate. Uganda has a population of around 45 million but a higher 3% growth rate. In terms of global population, Kenya ranks 26th most populous country in the world, behind Italy and ahead of Myanmar. Meanwhile, Uganda ranks 30th, behind South Korea and ahead of Sudan. Overall, for every Ugandan there are about 1.18 Kenyans. Uganda, with 237 people per square km or 614 people per square mile, is more densely populated than Kenya, with 94 people per square km or 244 people per square mile. Kenya's largest cities include Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret, and its capital and biggest city Nairobi. As for Uganda, its major cities are Entebbe, Jinja, Mbale, Mbarara, with the capital Kampala being the largest. While Nairobi has a large city population, Kenya also has major population clusters around Lake Victoria and the Indian Ocean coast. Uganda's population is more evenly spread across regions, though with notable concentrations in the central and southwestern areas around Kampala. Around 80% of Kenyans speak Kiswahili as a first or second language, while 65% speak various Bantu languages and about 31% speak Nilotic languages. Other languages include Arabic, Hindu, and other European languages. English is also an official language spoken by at least 50%. In Uganda, around 64.8% speak Luganda as their first language, 28.2% speak Ocholi and other Nilotic languages, while English is used as the main official language for over 85% of the population. Just like in Kenya, Uganda also speaks many other languages. In Kenya, around 85% of the population is Christian, 11% Muslim, and 4% follow traditional religions or other faiths. Uganda has a similar Christian majority at 84%, with 14% Muslim and 2% following other religions. About 49.7% of the Kenyan population is male while 50.3% is female. About 49.9% of the Ugandan population are male while females are 50.1%. Kenya's median age is 19.86 years, while Uganda's is 15.7 years. Both countries have relatively young populations compared to aging societies in Europe. Kenya is often considered to be East and Central Africa's primary industrial and economic powerhouse, and its economy is certainly reflective of that title. Everything from banks and fintech to chapatis and nyama choma is made there. With an astounding GDP of $225 billion, Kenya has the fourth largest economy in Africa behind only Egypt, Nigeria, and South Africa. Uganda's economy is also quite impressive with a GDP of $52.4 billion. It has Africa's 13th largest economy behind Ivory Coast, Ghana, and DRC. Kenya's population accounts for just 3.77% of the African population, but its economy accounts for about 4.2% of the African economy. Uganda's population accounts for just 3.14% of the global population, but its economy accounts for about 1.8% of the African economy. Uganda is home to some major brands like Centenary Bank, Kaigas, Bell Lager, Splash, Star